putting off recording this video for a week at this point, which is ironic given the subject matter, because I've been feeling terrible. So what I've been doing instead of creating for YouTube has been scrolling on YouTube. Yes, not even watching YouTube, just scrolling YouTube. And the more I've been doing that, the more dead inside I've been feeling. So if that's you, if you know that you do want to create something, or you just feel like you're done just scrolling on social media, killing your brain cells and wasting your time, then in this video I would like to explore why it's so important to create, especially when you feel you don't have the energy, that you're too burned out, or you simply don't care because you're so tired of this world, you're so tired of the people in it, you're so tired of everything, of the pressure on you. Then, as I said, today I want to talk about why it is so crucial to create and how to create. So let's talk about why to create first. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who feels worse the more time they spend on social media. And I'm one of those people who, like, I don't know, I deleted my Instagram years ago. I'm not on TikTok, so really the only social media I am on is YouTube. And still, I often feel myself caught in this loop of scrolling, reading comments, getting angry at the comments, being reminded of something in my life, getting angry about that, and just wasting so much time and energy about something that's not even real, right? And this is so insidious, especially when you're already burnt out and tired like me. Like, I'm literally recovering from nervous system collapse. Because what little spark you still have in yourself, you basically wasted on something that's so nonsensical. I'm not trying to be dramatic when I say that creation is what actually keeps you alive. Because creation is something that, like, true human creation is something that cannot be commercialized, right? Like, you can sell art, yes, obviously, and we do live in times in which art gets heavily commercialized, but creation cannot be commercialized because it's just yours, right? It's something you own, it's something that cannot be taken away from you. And therefore, it's something that is not very profitable. Like, you creating just for the sake of creating is something no one's gonna make money off, which is probably why creation for the sake of creation is so incredibly devalued in the times we live in. It's okay to be a writer if you aspire to be on the bestseller list. Like, you still shouldn't quit your day job, right? But it's still okay. But to say, no, actually I'm just writing a novel for myself. Like, it's like, you're crazy. Like, why are you doing that? You should be starting a side hustle instead. And that's because we're so desensitized to actually being alive. And, like, so many of us, we're just walking through life basically already dead, right? Like, we don't have any aspirations anymore. We don't have any dreams. If we dare to voice them, then someone will remind us on why it's unrealistic. And basically all we do is get up, do whatever we have to do to cover our living expenses, and waste our time on social media, or just, binging whatever news show, going to bed, doing it again. And the more we do that, the more we sniff out that life force within us. Like, I often try to imagine it as like this flame in the middle of your chest, and just every single day that flame getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it's just like this tiny kindling. And that's what burnout feels like. It's like you're walking through the day and nothing brings you joy anymore. Like, the entire week, I haven't been doing anything. I haven't been writing, I haven't been making videos, I haven't even felt like reading. Like, I've literally just been staring at the wall because just the weight of everything in my life has been crashing down on me. And the more it has been crashing down on me, the harder it has been to gain the strength to say, you know what, I'm getting up. I don't care. I'm just starting. Like, I'm just gonna do something, right? I'm just gonna read through my novel. I'm not even gonna write for my novel. I'm just gonna look at it. Or I'm not gonna write like this crazy script for today's video, but I'm just gonna start my camera and see what happens. And through the simple act of doing that, right? The simple act of deciding I'm not just going to lay here, waste my time, scrolling through an algorithm that I could actually be contributing to, that sparked something in me. Like, that little flame I described earlier, it got this little spark back, it's not like this roaring bonfire or anything, but it's there, it's growing. And just as I'm recording this video, I'm already feeling myself becoming more animated, like getting a little spark back. And I'm familiar with this feeling from my writing. Like, I'm a writer, and my novel is my passion project. And it's funny because I'm almost at 100,000 words, and suddenly I've stopped. Suddenly I've started finding fault with it, started, nitpicking small things that didn't bother me before. And still, like today I decided to just reread some chapters I'd already written. And as I was doing that, I had this realization that, wow, this can't be taken away from me, right? Like I could lose so much in life, and I've already lost so much in life, but this cannot be taken away from me. Like this spark within me to create, it is something that I will always carry with me. And I've carried this through betrayal, I've carried it through serious health challenges, I've carried it through losing my career, and still it's still there, right? Like it's still keeping me alive. It's still saying, you know what, this is not, like, you are not just your circumstances. Like you're a person who has something to contribute, and even if that's just to yourself. So that's what I mean by saying that creativity keeps you alive and really keeps your soul alive, because it reminds you that you are not just this, like, whatever descriptors you use for yourself, like not just your job title or not just who you are in relation to someone else. And of course that's also you, right? Like I also define myself by that, but that's not all there is. Like before you were, I don't know, before you had your job or before you became a wife or a mom, you were already someone, right? You were already a person with essence, and that essence is what gets expressed when you create. Okay, so let's talk about how to actually create even when you're burnout and tired like me, because let me tell you, I do have some experience with that, being tired and burnout. And the first step is the most unpopular one, I would say, namely taking care of your body and actually resting. And resting means not scrolling. Like watching this video is not resting because it's still a cognitive process. And while this video isn't the most cognitively challenging video, you still have to process what I'm saying. You're probably thinking about what you think about all of this. This video isn't super structured, so you've kind of have to deal with how I'm jumping between points and stuff. So, and we do that all the time, and we think that because this is like a passive activity that it's resting, but it's not. So resting is actually turning off the input and not having a show running in the background, not having YouTube or TikTok or whatever open, just, you know, turning off the input, being with yourself and actually listening to your body. And I've been chronically ill for over a year now, and I still struggle with this. Like I still struggle with just allowing myself to rest, to lay in bed, to recover, that my own company is enough, because I always feel like I have to, I don't know, compensate for who I am by getting more input, which ironically is what makes creation even harder, because the more input you have, the less you can actually hear your own voice, the more you actually know what you're trying to express. So that's why step one is taking care of your body and resting. And that doesn't mean that you literally just have to stare at a wall. Like you can obviously do stuff like, I don't know, playing a board game or cuddling your cat or taking a walk, but basically just doing something that's not output focused, where the goal of the activity is to enjoy the activity or just to be with yourself. The next step to creating while you're burnt out and tired is to set realistic goals. So actually that might be the most unpopular step, because, like, you know, I definitely identify as a high achiever. Like I'm always go, go, go. Like I have these goals, I want to go towards them. And that's exactly when you're prone to burnout. That's how I burn out. That's why I had quit my PhD. Because I was always just pushing forward and not allowing myself to do step one, namely rest. And that's, you know, because we're living in this hyper-capitalist society, blah, 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 like we're all aware of that. That's why I really like to think about agriculture in these terms, because you don't plant all year round, right? I mean, you can plant in different seasons, but just stick with me, okay? What I mean is that you're not gonna be sowing seeds every single season, most likely. At least not for the same plant. But what you're going to be doing, you're going to have a season where you sow the seed, then you have to nurture it, you have a season where it's growing, you have a season for harvest, and you also have a season for rest, you know, for letting the field go follow, I believe it's called. And creativity is the same way, especially when you're burnout. And so that's the season for really deciding to go bare minimum. That's not the season for expecting yourself to perform like your highest self, because you're not your highest self right now. You're like tired. And this video is an example of that. Like I could have attempted a much bigger production, and that would have meant that I probably would have not even started recording the video, because I would have been too tired to even start, right? Like my energy is very low right now. I'm not in a good mood. I'm questioning why I'm even doing this, but I'm doing it to prove a point. And that's why I've decided to go bare minimum, like decide what is the absolute minimum viable product I need to have. which is a video where I'm speaking semi-coherently about the title, the topic of the title, and then just go with that. And that might look very different for you, you know. Maybe bare minimum doesn't even mean really like having a finished product at the end of it. For example, today I sat down with my novel again after a few days of rest, and I decided today isn't the day I'm gonna start writing again. Today isn't even gonna be the day where I'm doing like big brainstorming. As I mentioned, I just reread a few chapters I wrote and decided to take some notes on that. And that was it for today. That was my bare minimum today, and that's fine, right? Because I feel so often when we are really primed for just pushing forward, we fear that if we don't push forward, we'll completely lose momentum. But it's actually keeping the bare minimum in the seasons where you do not have much strength that allows you to keep momentum. Because if you're just always going, that's when you're actually gonna burn out, when you wanna fall off, when you're gonna fall off. And as I said, I know that because that's what happened to my PhD. That's why I didn't finish my PhD, and that's why I'm never gonna finish my PhD. Because I burned so bright that I just completely lost all passion for it. I lost all strength, I lost my health. And if I had learned to not push so hard, to actually take a break, then I might actually be finishing that project. So, as I said, honoring the season you're in, right? And just honoring where your energy is and allowing it to shift. Because it could be that today's the day you decide you're gonna write, and then you sit down and you realize it's not happening. It's fine, you know, you sat down, that's already the most important step, really, is starting. That's the step most of us miss on days like that, you know, and then you would sit down and do whatever it is you feel like you can do. For example, taking a few notes on what you could be writing. Basically, in these low energy seasons, you have to become comfortable with low output. And I know it's scary because we often look at our output to prove to ourselves that we've done something, but you can't like drive a car without gas, right? And similarly, you can't create when there's nothing left in you to create. Because remember that the main goal of creating in such a low energy season is not to produce something, but it's to keep yourself alive. And you're not keeping yourself alive by draining the last bit of what you have on something you're not even gonna be happy with. Because let's be real, like when I write on days like these, very seldom do I create something that I'm truly happy with. Like often it's like basically Neanderthal speak, right? And that's okay, that's fine. I know I can go back and edit it because again, the goal wasn't to create something perfect on that day. The goal was to prove to myself, hey, I still have this in me, and to keep the momentum going, right? To not take like a huge break from my project. Sometimes it is necessary to take a larger break from your project, but I would encourage you to not make that decision out of fatigue. Because if it's a project that is actually something dear to you, you know, not something that you're doing out of obligation, but something you started because you enjoy it, then that project could be what gives you energy. Like I would still be really in depth of my nervous system collapse if I hadn't started writing my novel. Because that's what gave me a purpose for getting up in the morning. It's what gave me a reason to get myself together. It's what gave me a reason to think about the future in any capacity beyond looking at it as a hellscape. Because it gave me a goal, it gave me something that is genuinely mine, that, as I mentioned, cannot be taken away from me. And so that's why I encourage you, even if you do not feel you have the energy, to go towards your project. And rather than taking a huge amount of time off, thinking about how can I spend time with this in a way that rejuvenates me. Not in a way that takes from me, but in a way that makes me happy to be here. Because that way you can accept that this low energy season is that, just a season. It's not the rest of your life. But if you slowly step away from everything that brings you joy, again, that's how burnout happens. Like I didn't burn out because I was doing too much. I burned out because I wasn't doing enough of what was rejuvenating me. And the irony is, the more you can accept your season of life for what it is, for example, it being a low energy season, the shorter the season will actually be. Because so often we create problems on top of problems. For example, as I said, I've been in a terrible mood all week because of a few things in my life. And now I'm additionally creating the problem of not engaging with my creative interests, which would give me joy. And then I'm creating the problem of being mad at myself for it on top of that. You know, so I have 3 layers of problems, 2 of which weren't even necessary. So by consciously choosing to engage with your project in a way that's not focused on output, but in a way that's focused on keeping you alive, you actually enhance your ability to have higher output in the future. And I know I've been talking this entire video assuming that you have a creative project you're working on. And if you do not have one, then you probably have something brewing in you, you know, like a seed within you. Because if you don't, then you probably wouldn't have watched this video. And I know it can be very hard to actually get that seed to grow, especially when you burn out. And that's actually what I make videos about on this channel. So if that's something you're interested in, you're welcome to check out my catalog. And if you want one-on-one help, then you're welcome to check out the information on my coaching offer called Jumpstart Your Creative Project in the description box below. My name is Jinya. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.